Well, in DBR here, welcome to Amityville Horror. Thank you for visiting. I am Clint. I am not
Uh-oh,
joined by
everything froze for
Don
me.
tonight. Uh-oh. And on the other hand, I am instead joined by one Mr. Jason Pitts, who will be my co-host tonight, standing in for Don. I told him the only thing that he needs to remember to do tonight is to say the first thing that pops into his mind and to curse a whole lot, and then everybody can just pretend they're listening to Don. So beyond that, we are joined with a very special guest tonight who works with Jason quite a bit, and they know each other quite well. We have the wonderful, the lovely, the multi-talented Amielynn Woodall. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. Oops, and we lost Jason already.
We lost him.
It's just we did. I think his connection must not be very good. This has kind of been falling apart half the day, and that's a good segue into Don not being able to make it tonight. He's been kind of under the weather today, and I won't put too fine a point on it, but I will say that if he checks this out later, I hope that he remembered to take his Imodium and to put some wet wipes in the freezer. Wet wipes in the freezer are my best recommendation for Don.
Yeah.
So welcome back.
Hello.
And also, hey, that's no problem. So, and then he was going to have Jamie Apple come in, but of course she's having some illness of her own. So I hope she's doing all right.
I'm not sick.
Me neither. In fact, I feel fantastic. Hopefully. So, Amy, gearing up for this, I was checking out all the usual haunts to get information on my guests, and that's things like Facebook pages, IMDb credits, taking a deep dive on YouTube, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole when I searched your name on YouTube, and so I got more than I thought I was gonna get. I got
That's where I put all of my audition videos, and
like
there's one movie I had to do that I had to film the scenes at home, so there's stuff showing up. I forgot to take those. I forgot to delete those.
Hey, Clint, okay. my internet connection here might not be great. If it happens again, I'll probably have to not come back. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Well, we'll know that you're here in spirit.
Yes,
and we'll remember you fondly. So
thank you.
No problem. So besides the booty bumping playlist on your YouTube channel, I do, which is pretty awesome, by the way. I think I kind of enjoy your selections in music. I also got some of your brief auditions that you sent in, which was pretty cool. But also anything that your name is attached to. So I saw quite a few like like shorts or trailers for things that you were working on or in. So the likes of which were Aiden Esslinger's Justice. That short is actually available on YouTube, which is pretty cool. And I went ahead and just watched that. And for being a short film, I found it to be pretty compelling with its message.
Well, the thing is, when he wrote that, he was 14 years old.
Sure.
And to have that social, just that awareness, and to be that mature at 14, there is nothing that young man's not ever going to be able to accomplish in life. He is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, that's amazing. I had no idea that he was so young when he wrote it. I mean, it perfectly depicted a scenario of racial profiling and unfairness in the justice system at its smallest levels. And I know that your part was brief, and you were one of the
nice people, put it that way.
No, I get it. Hey, sometimes we got to be cast as racists in order to paint the full picture of the point they're trying to get across. And but I was still happy to see you in it, and I thought the performance was really good. So everybody involved was wonderful in that.
Yeah. And when I had that opportunity, I jumped on it, even though I already knew what that character was, because to play a role like that, something that goes 100% against who you are and your grain, and to be able to pull that off is one of the most rewarding things ever.
Yeah, yeah. And
home, I was so upset playing the part of a racist. Yeah, I did. I got so sick on the way home from it.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Because that seems out of character. That's not the type of character that you want to play, but you did it for the part, and I imagine it just felt so foreign, and to have to just do that,
it really did.
Must have affected you in some way. And I guess that just speaks, to how seriously you take a role, because you knew you had to embody the character, and you dealt with the after effects later. That's kind of cool. Does that happen a lot?
I've only ever disliked 2 characters I've played, like 100% disliked the characters, but the roles themselves and the project itself was rewarding. And that was one of them.
Right.
Other than that, it's like I can usually find some common ground with whatever character I'm playing. But those 2 characters I couldn't.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. And I did get to see a trailer for the movie Rest Area, which I don't know. You actually did quite a few things with Saint Studio Films.
Yeah, I will be going back to Mississippi like later on this year or maybe sometime next year to do some more with them.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So I don't know if all of these things have been released, if they're things that people can see, if they're available, or if they're still like waiting for some type of distribution. Honestly, or something like that.
I do have some stuff on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And then some stuff on YouTube, and other than that, I don't ask where they go, and they can be watched. I just show up and do my job.
Right. Yeah, I might have to check out some of their individual websites, because I'm sure there's updates there on the people maintaining.
And I do have a lot or several projects that aren't even on IMDb because the directors or who didn't want to put them on there.
Okay.
Which are some of my favorite projects I've done, but they just think it's a waste of their time.
Oh, are you allowed to talk about them?
Well, one of them, I don't even know if the guy's still doing movies. He just said he won't do IMDb because it's a waste of his time. And then the other one is, I can talk about it. He just doesn't know how to get stuff on there because it's a little bit complicated,
Sure.
Yeah, those with Sway Production, and it's like little short films called The Plan, and it goes all the way up to the Plan 5. And I'm just a therapist, and she hears in her therapy sessions. I told him, I was like, dude, one of these days you're gonna have to do one where the therapist needs therapy. Just some of the stuff she hears.
Exactly. Yeah, I saw a brief clip from the Plan 3 on YouTube there, just a search on your name, and I did see part of a Plan 5, and I'd have to say same thing. Got some good quality actors to work with. I mean, some of the things that they had to do on screen, it's like it can't be easy to pull off. Like behaving like a crazy person and being believable when you're doing it.
Yeah, the guy that played that was the Joker in Plan 5 was the criminal or the convict that was in her therapy session in the Plan 3. And
Part 3.
Dude is so good. Yeah, that dude is so good. He is so good.
Yeah. Because when I watched the clip from the Plan 3, it was basically like a counseling session, and he was handcuffed and everything, and trying to jump scare you and everything else.
Yeah, he was on his way to being executed, and that was his last little therapy session to clear his conscience.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. So, was that? No, that wasn't him. I was gonna say, I know you've worked on a few projects with Charlie Brady. I didn't know if he was part of any of those.
I love him. No, he's not part of any of those. But yeah, Charlie is like, he's my boy. I love him.
That's kind of the impression I get. Like everybody who ever works with him is like, that guy is amazing. He's wonderful. He's professional.
He is.
And
He is.
yeah, does a really good job. We recently talked
Mhm.
to somebody who employed him to help with editing. He worked on the Sawyer Massacre. So
Yes, I was actually supposed to be a part of that as assistant director, but I had to have like busted my knee and had to have surgery 4 days before it was set to film.
He told us that story, but didn't use your name. So now I have the piece of the puzzle.
That was
that's such a
that'll be the
shame.
last time. Yeah, I told him that's the last time I'm ever going to chase cock.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, but chasing my rooster. So
I got you.
Yeah. I ain't chasing no more.
No, never chase them. Never. They will.
No.
That leads nowhere.
just a busted knee.
Yeah. Oh, that's awful. So how long was the recovery on that? That sounds like it must have been super painful.
I did it in November, and I didn't get to have surgery until February. And I'm released from the doctor about like a month ago or a couple of months ago, but I still can't do a lot.
Yeah. Good Lord, I didn't think that that a surgery could go that long and still have things.
It was a meniscus and ACL, both of them.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm a natural born crackhead. Like I always have to be moving and doing stuff. So having to be sedentary doesn't go well for me at all.
No, that would be horrible. I would hate that too.
It is. I can't stand
it. So normally you're bouncing around like a ball in a pinball machine.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Yep. All the time.
Yeah.
I never stop.
So you mentioned some of your favorite projects are some of the ones that do not show up on IMDb.
Right. Well, The Plan, obviously, and then well, actually, I know all the plans. They're all my favorite. But then there was one that we never filmed it, but the project itself, like the story was amazing. I don't know like what the status of it is because it's been like 2 years and nothing's happened. So. But yeah,
Gotcha.
I think The Plan's my main ones that aren't on there. And then there was another one I did called The Light Outside. It was a student film, and it was set back in the 1950s in Little Rock when they were desegregating the schools. And it dealt with racism and domestic violence and just a nosy housewife and down to her young her husband's co-worker's wife that I didn't like her either.
Sure.
Love the project, but didn't like her.
Yeah, I only know a little bit about that, and it's such a weird thing because I have a part-time job that I occasionally work in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and as you may or may not know, President Eisenhower retired there, and I learned while I was driving bus to the Eisenhower farm, carting people back and forth, that he actually, when he was president, sent troops to Little Rock to try to enforce desegregation. So I don't know if that played a part in the movie that you're talking about, or the story that was written.
No, it was basically said it was the lady's husband had one of his young coworkers who had just recently got married. They'd moved from Oklahoma, and she's they're over for dinner, and the men are doing their thing in one room, and the women are in the kitchen talking, and she's like, "Now, dear," she talks to her like that, and just very condescending, and and they're like, and it's crazy. The one line in that killed me because, other than having to talk like this was, I had to tell her that, dear, forgetting comes with age, or are you a child? I kept forgetting that line. I mess that line up every time. Keep in mind, I was the oldest person there, which made it suck even that. I forgot that line probably like 6 or 7 times, like just that one line. I had to keep redoing.
Oh, well, I mean, there's always something like that. It's like we all meet that in everyday life where it's like just something that you just have a mental block about and you just can't get over it no matter how many times you do it.
I got so flustered because the fact that I was the oldest person in that scene and I'm telling the young one, forgetting comes with age. I kept forgetting it.
Yeah.
Living proof.
Illustrating the point perfectly.
Yes.
So, I mean, you haven't really looking at your credits, your acting credits don't go back very far. So like you've basically lived a full life before you decided to get into acting.
Yep. Got married young. Husband was in the military. Raised my kids. He retired from the military. Had grandkids, and I was, going through that stage of life where it was like, oh my God, how can, when we have grandchildren, it was like, how can I expect them to never give up and never fight for their dreams and just keep on keeping on if I never even start working for mine?
Mm-hmm.
And one night I was coming home from the gym, and I was driving through historic downtown Van Buren. It's absolutely beautiful. And I was like, wait, the roads are blocked. And I'm like, oh, hell no, somebody didn't go screw up my drive. This is my peace and quiet time. Then I was like, oh shit. And I was on the phone with my husband, and I'm like, oh my God, and I'm throwing a fit. And he was like, what? And I'm like, I got closer and closer. I'm like, oh my God. He's like, what? And I was like, I gotta go. Hung up on him. Got as close as I could. They were filming a movie.
Okay.
Called The Riot Act. Yeah, they were filming that movie. And I was so flustered that I was that close to a movie set and didn't even know what was happening in this small town. Started hitting up casting calls that night.
That's really cool. So that was the motivational factor that you needed.
Yep. Somebody screwed up my drive on the way home.
And you're frustrated that you were so close to a movie set that you couldn't go on. That's
and it was just like it was like fate's way of just telling me, get off my butt and just get started.
Yeah. So what's the first thing you got? Do you remember?
The first project I did?
Yeah.
It was one of the Indestructible series from Dark Knight Films. The absolute very first one. It was Indestructible, I think, Reckoning. And and when people found out what that scene required me to do, I was just like, I'm just going to jump in head first in this, because eventually they're going to want me to, I'm going to get asked to do it, and I just really don't care. But yeah, it was a topless, insinuated sex scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that clip is not on YouTube. There is a clip from
No, it will never be on
YouTube.
It will never, that no.
Will not see the light of day. Okay.
No, the guy sent me that link, and it was crazy because the guy's a total sweetheart, the guy. And I asked him, I was like, well, how tall is my scene partner going to be? Because I'm not really tall, but I'm not totally short. I'm like 5'7", right in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, well, he's 5'5". And I'm like, okay, we can make it work. That's fine. And then I get there, and the dude's probably lucky if he's 5'2".
Oh, the poor guy.
There was such a height difference that there's like the hallway scene where I'm talking to him. I had to like lean back and scooch down on the wall and stretch my legs out across the hallway just to be able to be eye to eye with him. It was so awkward.
Sounds like it. I mean, couldn't they given him something to stand on or something? I mean,
well, yeah. Like I said, I just knew, like, eventually, like, I don't care about like nudity or doing sex scenes. They don't faze me. It doesn't bother me. But everybody's like, well, why would you want to do it first time? My husband would never let me do it. And I was like, my husband was right there. He was in the other room, and it's work. It's a job.
Yeah. There's.
But it is a very, very awkward scene. Like, it was not a good performance.
It would be.
I usually don't ever tell anybody about it ever.
Yeah, I feel that it's that's one of those things. It would be difficult to be comfortable in a situation like that. It's like somebody you barely know, and then suddenly you have to like have disrobe a bit. There's people everywhere, lights, cameras, and microphones hanging around. It would be really, really strange feeling for sure.
Well, it's one of those backwoods film companies, zero budget type of thing.
Yeah,
they were filming with their iPhone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of those no budget.
Yeah. But despite that, the quality didn't look horrible. I mean,
and with saying all that I'm saying about it, I don't regret doing it at all. I'm so grateful for that role, because that one role has got me to where I am now.
Yeah, no, you got to be grateful for the things that help you cut your teeth. So I mean, you've come a long way since then.
Mm-hmm.
And and I don't know if it makes sense to jump in and start talking about your work with Mr. Jason Pitts. You know, since he can't be here now. Yeah, you call him Coach. I'm not exactly sure why, other than you look at him like a leader.
Whenever he was filming Alone, they posted a casting call that they needed a woman my age with blonde hair and blue eyes. And at that time, my hair was a bleached blonde, and I had, could wear blue contacts. So I was like, hey, does bleach blonde and blue contacts work? So I sent him a picture, and we've been working together ever since. But I started calling him Coach because he was like, I did that film with him, and then I was scripting continuity for Masquerade. And then whenever he was posted the crew call or casting call for Voorhees Night of the Beast, I was like, oh, put me in, Coach, put me in. And he's been Coach ever since. But he's just Coach.
Yeah, no, and I've seen all three of those. Alone is pretty awesome, and that was really cool. Like catch your scene right at the very end there, and basically the cliffhanger that they left that in. That looked like a very emotionally charged scene, and it's like,
it was.
I mean, personally, I felt that. I have a small child at home, so I mean, it's like that would just be the most nightmare situation that I can imagine.
I have 3 daughters. Where'd you go? Shut the door. My 5-year-old granddaughter.
Hi.
But that's one of I have 3 daughters and 4 grandkids. So even just for that little bit, just to still let myself get in that emotional state, even though there weren't any lines or anything, just feeling all those emotions was horrible. Like, it was horrible.
Yeah. No, I couldn't imagine it either. I wouldn't want to imagine it for very long. I can tell you that. And of course, I got my copy of Masquerade. I
love that.
Excellent follow-up film to that in the series.
Mm-hmm.
And you were script supervisor on that.
Yes. Yep. First time I'd ever done it. First, when that was coming up, Pitts asked me could I do hair and makeup? I was like, yeah, my own. And he goes, yeah. And then he asked me if I could do a makeup artist, so I gave him my makeup artist name. And then he asked me, had I ever done script supervisor? And I was like, no. He goes, well, there's a lot of detail, and he's giving me some info on it. He goes, you think you can do it? I'm like, yeah, sure. And been doing it for him ever since.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like he did a good job. I mean, I personally didn't notice any continuity differences in the film itself. I wasn't really looking for them, but at the same time, I know from our previous conversation when we talked about Alone and Masquerade as a group that you were paying very close attention to detail to make sure that even the smallest
you have to.
Yeah, the smallest background item was in the same position that it was, in the very last time that you shot the scene. So that sounds like a challenging role, and it's really cool that he gave you a shot to do that, and he trusts you to continue doing it. Where did you say that you were also you also worked on Night of the Beast?
Yes, I was scripted continuity for that, and production manager. I think that's what he said.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I know what a production manager is. But
I really don't know either. I just know that I saw when we were watching it, I saw my name in the credits for that, and I was just like, what did I do? I don't know what I did, but.
Well, must have coordinated something.
Yeah.
About the production. Yeah. You guys must be super proud of Voorhees Night of the Beast. I don't know if you've.
I am. I really am.
Yeah. Have you checked out the view count on YouTube? You guys are right.
Last time I did, it was it was a lot.
Yeah, I looked earlier today.
What is it now? I haven't checked in a while.
I think it was like 442,000 views.
Wow. Yeah, I think last week when I checked, it was only like at 300 and something thousand. But I mean, we all had hopes, and we had that gut feeling that it was going to be something. But still you have that kind of the scare because you put so much of your heart and soul and everything you have into making it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I had 100% faith in Jason, in Pitts, everybody, but still I was just scared. Like, oh my God.
Each production seems to get bigger than the last one. And
yep.
The the pressure must feel larger every time, especially when he gives you such a great responsibility as that.
But I love it. I absolutely love it.
Oh, of course.
Mhm.
And I know all you want to do is a good job for him because he's such a super great guy.
Yeah, he's one of the easiest people I've had to work with. Like, he's a perfectionist. He knows his stuff, but he's just wonderful. Like, just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that impression. He's really fun to talk to, and I know we've had him on a few times. And I know Don had him on before as a co-host before in his Director's Den series. So it's like, yeah, he's great. He's wonderful to have around. I really understand why everybody seems to like him. So Lonely Echoes is next, right?
Yep.
So as I think the IMDb is still up for that. Not IMDb, Indiegogo.
Yes, I think so. I think I don't know how much longer it has on it. I know we still need to raise a little bit more money for it.
Yeah. I think I'm probably going to share that on the page again because it would be really nice to see a few more contributions put in there. You know, I know this was the biggest one planned. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's a feature film instead of a short film.
Oh, okay. Got a bigger story to tell now.
Oh yeah, and my character, Mrs. Anderson, is coming back.
Right.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so probably picking up with your character where we left off in Alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much where it starts off.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, if you think Alone in Masquerade or something, Lonely Echoes is more. It's like I was reading the script going, like when he sent me the script, I was just like, oh my God.
I can hardly wait. You know, I mean, I enjoy his writing. I mean, I've seen a couple of things, 3 things so far, actually 4. He did recently give us a screener for When the Stairs Creak. So
I was script supervisor for that one as well.
How about that? Yeah, I thought I saw your name attached to it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I guess that one's hitting festivals now, and I think well, he just posted today, just a little while ago, that it got its first selection, and well deserved. So I mean, I won't say too much about it because people really need to see that. It needs to hit the festival circuit. But Don and I are supposed to do a spoiler-free review of it the next couple of days, so we'll probably have.
Well, we have our first official premiere for it tomorrow night.
Oh, where's that going to be?
Mm-hmm. It is going to be at the Beard and Lady Inn at Chester, the location that it was at.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. The beard and lady, not the bearded lady.
Nope, beard and lady. I know it confused me too at first. I was like, when he was telling me where it was going to be filmed, I was like, why would you want to film at a place like that? I mean,
yeah, it's just a circus sideshow. What are we doing here? You know?
Yeah.
But the Beard and Lady Inn.
Yes, it's a very beautiful building.
It looked like it. It looked like it. Absolutely. Yeah. And Bailey's back.
Oh my God, she's my person.
Yeah.
I love her. Yes.
Yeah.
Like
she had a starring role.
Right. She nailed it, man. Just like I told him, because Bailey and I are so close. I told him, I was like, I'm coming with tissues because the way it was originally going to end, I wouldn't have been able. Anybody could have done it, played that role, but since it was Bailey, I knew I would end up crying because it's my Bailey, Luckily, they changed the ending so I didn't have to cry.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And
I did have my tissues ready to go, though. I was waiting.
Yeah, I'll use my imagination, but I'm pretty sure I can guess what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But that would have been sad. I'm glad they didn't do that. But that's excited. I'm excited to talk about that. I'm really excited about Lonely Echoes. So you guys haven't started anything with that yet.
No, we're raising the funds first.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I know he said if he didn't get the amount that he needed to work with, that he was going to delay a bit. So all the more reason, for me to share that Indiegogo on the page and see if we can't get a little bit more on that, because I want to see it made, because now I'm invested in the story and I want to know what's going to happen next.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably my favorite, like for the murder, what else is the Murderverse, whatever. It's probably the storyline is my favorite one.
I would also expect it to be the most intricate, because we've got, we've been introduced to a couple different storylines now that are part of that universe, and at some point, I can only imagine that all of that's going to come together, since we're calling this the Murderverse, and we're writing a bigger story. We're doing a feature instead of shorts. I imagine that that the plot lines are going to start to converge and make a little bit more sense. And
he's bringing characters from Alone and Masquerade into Lonely Echoes, so that way you can see how they all merge and it makes sense.
Yeah, we're going to get a little bit more of the bigger picture, I think. And
yes,
I like that. And is Samantha coming back as the cop?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. She was really interesting.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she had a part in Alone, and then in Masquerade. I wasn't joking when I said I didn't recognize her as the same person. So like,
she looked different.
Yeah, their characters were night and day too. So it's like,
I
had to see the name and actually be told, oh yeah, that was me. And really,
yeah,
you did both characters.
You got like the twin who chose a rougher life, and you got one that's the cop. So.
Yeah, that's a pretty neat dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you've got some other things that are happening. If I'm seeing things like you've got a short film called The Shrew.
Yes.
And there's another film called Locked In.
That was a big production too.
Yeah.
It was with Cut to the Chase Productions. Charlie Brady and I left our location the day we wrapped in or filming Voorhees, and went directly to the other location and started filming the next day. So we did 2 feature films back to back.
Wow.
And I went up, and I went up to do Locked In as for an unpaid PA. I just wanted to be a part of it because Amber Dawn Fox was in it, Robert Mutes, and Lynn Lowry. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. I know it's unpaid, but I'm already going to be in Kentucky anyhow. Like, just, let me have, so they went ahead and had me on. And then by the second day, I was second AD and got a walk-on role with Robert Mutes.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if that scene made it into the movie or not, but I did it.
Well, just ask them if they can put it in the special features at least.
Yeah. I told them, I was like, if they don't make the movie, at least send it to me so I can prove I did a scene with him, because everybody loves Rufus.
Yeah. Put it in your reel. You know what I mean? So you can send it off for other auditions. That'd be fantastic. Yeah. So Locked In. I was seeing something about that. I didn't know if it was in the YouTube stuff I was looking at. Maybe it wasn't. I don't think it was.
Yeah, it hasn't been released. They just had their premiere for it last week, and I'm not sure when it's officially getting released or not.
Yeah, it wasn't a teaser. Oh, okay. I had looked at it on IMDb. Yeah, the cover art looks crazy. It definitely looks like
it's very intense. It is definitely different than anything I've ever done. And there's some of it that was so intense, like one scene in particular, some of the crew had to leave the area because it was such an intense scene they couldn't handle it. Like, it really upset them. Yeah. So, yeah, because, it deals with human trafficking and murder and just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It was a brutal film.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a captive scenario. and some of those can be really disturbing. I know.
Yeah.
Some of my least favorite movies are probably like that.
Well, there were sometimes, like, even me, I would just kind of look down. I mean, because I could hear everything. There was like, and I was right there at the monitor, so I would just kind of like look at my foot or something because I didn't want to see what was going on. But I had to keep watching because it's my job.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
It was very intense, like, to deal with. It was very intense, and I want to talk about it, but I can't.
Oh, I know you can't. I know you can't. No, definitely. I'm not pushing you on that one.
It's like I said, it was anything different than I've ever done, and yeah. And now I'm assistant director for that company.
Yeah,
like, that's what I do for them now. Yeah.
There's a list. There's a list of things that you have coming that's either in pre-production or post-production, or things like that. I was actually kind of interested in some of your involvement in things like Bloody Hooker Massacre and Slumber Party, Slaughter Party 2.
I'm trying to think. Those were the ones where I said that on my audition videos, like, where I kind of had to film. I get to film my scenes remotely at my house. And and I was like, I just kind of forgot to delete those off of my YouTube.
One or both of them look like they may be connected to Trauma. Isn't Lloyd Kaufman part of one of those?
I don't know. I just film I filmed them here at my house, so I really don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I dug into it a little bit because you click a link. Oh, that looks interesting, and then it takes you to the other page, and you're looking at who's involved in it, and it's like, oh, geez, Debbie Rochon, we've got Lloyd Kaufman here. I mean, this is a production. I know these names, so it's kind of cool that you're connected to projects like that, and expanding even further out than what you had been previously.
Oh yeah.
So, do you have any long-term goals, or are you just seeing where this takes you?
I'm along for the ride.
Yeah.
My long-term goal is just to keep doing this for as long as I can. I mean, no matter what job it is, whether, like I said, I'm good for being a PA up to second AD. I'm line producing now, acting, just as long as I'm working, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. If that makes sense for a long-term goal, I just want to keep working. So
that
whatever it takes, I do.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense to me. Every new experience is a good experience, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. It sounds like it's been a heck of a ride for you so far.
It has.
And I hope you get to enjoy the ride for a very long time.
I hope so. But yeah. I've gotten killed a lot. Like, every one of my deaths has been different. I've gotten killed a lot.
Getting killed a lot?
Yeah.
All right.
They always... Yeah, there's one guy, every time he casts me, he likes to kill me.
Oh, my gosh.
He kills me in all kinds of weird, different ways.
So is he just like collecting, as many different ways as he can murder your character as possible?
Yeah, I think that's just like a little thing in his head. He just wants to see me die all the time. I don't know.
It'd be kind of neat if at some point he just did a mashup of every time that he did it and just sent it to you.
Oh my God, that'd be hysterical. The most interesting one was the very first movie I did, the Indestructible one. That was the most interesting way I died.
Yeah. What can you say about that?
Well, the guy, like, he had gotten some stuff injected in him so he was immortal and all that stuff, and that scene was the first time his character had been with a woman since all that had happened to him. So he didn't realize that his man juice.
Oh, his mojo was so powerful.
Yeah, I died death by.
I gotcha.
Killed me. His juice just killed me instantly.
I guess so.
That's the most interesting death.
Yes, that would make the top of the list, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there was a vampire once, and my character was trying to seduce her. She was a new vampire. She wasn't very good. She was dumb.
Okay.
But she was trying to seduce the guy because she was going to bite his neck or kill him or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Well, the scene is like insinuating that before she pops out her fangs, she's giving him a little kiss somewhere.
Okay.
And then like turns to get his a pencil and paper so he could get her number so they could stay in contact while she's doing that. And when she realizes what he's doing, she pops up and lunges at him to bite his neck, and he just turns around and she lands right on his pencil. So I got stabbed like right here. And I was like, okay. I was like, wooden stake. I get it. And they're like, nah, dude, she died from lead poisoning.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's a good death.
It was.
Do you have a favorite one out of all the times you've been killed on screen?
Yeah, I got beheaded by Michael Myers. I did a fan film, and I did a fan film with Sway Productions. It's on with Sway Productions. It's on YouTube, and it's one of his fan films. And my husband was in it with me. He was the mechanic, and yeah, I got beheaded by Michael Myers. I can't remember the name of it.
Well, now I'm gonna find it.
That's been my favorite one, like because it's Michael Myers.
Yes.
So my ultimate goal is to be in enough fan films that I get murdered by every slasher there is.
So you got to do a Leatherface kill at some point.
Yes, I got to get killed by Voorhees. I got to get killed by Freddy. I did get cast in a Freddy Krueger fan film.
Yeah.
But the guy decided not to make it, so I never found out if my character was going to live or get killed. So I was just because I was excited. I was like, "Ooh, Freddy will, getting killed by Freddy. That's two down. Yeah. Bunch more to go."
Fan films, they are really growing on me.
Yeah, I love fan films.
Yeah,
like I really do. And like I was getting on doing a review last night with Jonathan Moody, and I was like, dude, I asked him how many different podcasts he does because he's got several going, and then I was asking him if there was a podcast that has, just for fan films. And he said he didn't know. He didn't think there was because there should be because fan films don't get enough recognition.
No, they sure don't.
They're just made by people for people who absolutely love the franchise.
Yeah. That's 100% true. And you do it as a passion project because you are not allowed to make money. Yeah. So like everything that you invest into it is just something that you're not going to get back, and you just accept the fact, a lot of people working for free. Yep. They're just doing this because they want to make a movie and bring this idea to life. And I have so much respect for that. It's so cool to see some of the ideas and the creativity that happens. I mean, look at the one that you guys made,
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees and Bigfoot coming together on the screen. I mean,
how
does it get any crazier than that?
Well, he was talking about, I knew he was going to do it. And then I was like, hey, ho, coach. And then when he posted about the whole Squatch thing, I'm like, dude, you had me at Squatch. You had me at Squatch, coach. Because, my favorite slasher and my favorite cryptid all rolled into one film. There was no way I was not going to be there.
Yeah, that is super cool.
And then it was so cold. And they thought I was joking about bringing my Sasquatch onesie with matching Sasquatch house shoes. Yeah, I rode around on set seriously. I rolled around on set in my Sasquatch onesie and house shoes.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I looked dumb as fuck. I was comfortable and warm. I was the warmest person there.
Yeah. You could have just about been a background actor whenever like the families came out of the woods.
Well, they for that scene they were like, oh, do you want to put on be one Sasquatch? And I looked at him, I'm like, it's like I already am one. Well, I don't want to take this off. Why would I want to take this off where I'm nice and cozy and put that on? No. No. I'm good. I'm good.
No, I understand. Well, if you do recall, I'm gonna look around for that Halloween fan film. Hopefully I can find it. But if you do recall it at some point, let me know because I would definitely love to check it out. That's what I was
looking up. Yeah, well, that's what I was looking up before she walked in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Evil Lurks.
Evil Lurks.
Yeah, it's Evil Lurks.
All right.
It's by Sway Productions.
Okay.
It's really short. It's got him like not long at all, but yeah, my husband's like my real life husband is the guy that gets murdered in it, and it was funny because that's when my hair was bleached blonde, and I got blood all over me. It was so bad, like there was so much blood, and I just pulled my hair up before we went home, and then like my husband and I are trying to wipe the blood off of us, so we could go, leave. It stained our skin. And then we got home and I got in the shower and I managed to like scrub all of it off, but my hair was dyed pink. Like it looked pretty, the parts that was pink, but it wasn't even. It was just all splotched everywhere. But yeah, right. I had to walk around with pink splotches in my hair for a while.
Yeah, I've heard some of the fake blood can do that. Yeah.
And I would go through it all over again because I had so much fun.
That sounds like an absolute blast. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll probably check that out and maybe I'll share that on the page too. Give other people a chance to check it out. Yeah. One of our most popular episodes of our podcast is where we did a mashup of a bunch of Friday the 13th fan films. And that was before Voorhees Night of the Beast was out. And so if it had been out before we did that episode, we definitely would have talked about it. And there's been a few good ones that have come out since. So it's like we might be due to do another one.
I think this one's like maybe 10 or 15 minutes long, but I got beheaded in that one, and the work he did on it looked really, really good because they just like I don't know how he managed to make it look so good. Like my head was like it really looked like I got beheaded.
Wow!
But it was a blast. And then the guy I didn't want to get up because I didn't want to break the continuity, so I just stayed on the ground the whole time, even when the camera wasn't on me. And there's one scene where the guy's just like looking down at me. So the camera was solely focused on him. I was laying on the ground, doing everything I could do to break that guy's concentration. I can't break character. He was Michael Myers the whole time. I mean, I was making faces at him and all kinds of stuff. Just being stupid.
Yeah.
No, he was just like, nope, he didn't break character once.
Yeah, I hear a lot of stories like that. People trying to goof off on set and ruin somebody's professional.
Yeah, I mean, if he was laughing or grinning, we couldn't tell because he had a wig on, or not a wig, a mask. But right. Yeah, I was just wanted him to just laugh or just something. Just man, that dude like he's tall, so I'm like on the ground going, oh. But yeah, I couldn't get him break character. It's really disappointing.
Yeah.
And it was like figures like my real life husband. I'm like trying to get his attention because I'm dying. My real life husband was my husband in that. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I was like, it figures. I was like, you don't hear me whether you're my pretend husband or my real husband. You ain't listening. I can't rely on you, man. You just don't listen. I was like, you didn't listen, then I got beheaded. Yeah, it was a good experience, like sharing that project with him. He's done a couple other things with me, but that's the most memorable one.
Okay, so is he an actor too, or he just ends up on a set and like you sucker him into doing something?
I ball and tell him he's going to do something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he don't mind. He doesn't real mind. He doesn't want to have to like. Because he's so busy with work and everything, he doesn't have time to learn lines or anything. So he doesn't mind like being an extra or like something to where like he can ad lib his lines where it's just like a little bit. He's good, but he doesn't have the time to just like sit and remember everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he mainly models. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, there was one where I volunteered him, like, I got pulled on to be an AD, and it's for the guy who did Evil Lurks, and I volunteered him that he was the main guy in it. Because I was assistant director, so I was like, yeah, he'll do it. Because the guy, he goes, do you think Daryl would be interested? I was like, yeah, he'll do it. He don't mind. He goes, do you want to ask him? I was like, no, I'll just tell him he's doing it. He didn't have to talk. He was just a crazy homeless guy who went around killing people with an axe.
Wow.
Yeah. And I felt so bad for him because we were filming in an abandoned hotel, and it was like I think in June or July, and he had all these layers of clothes on. He had this mask, and he would have to lean forward and pull the mask out, and sweat would just pour out of that mask.
Yeah, that sounds so gross.
It was for him. For me, I was fine.
Yeah. But other than that, that's a dream role. You don't talk.
Yeah.
You're it's all physical acting, and you get to kill people on screen. That's
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
that's what I told Coach. It's like, my ultimate main character is to play somebody who is worse than Dom or, McGacy, Bundy, every real serial killer out there, and then take all of the fake, the slashers, cram those into one person. That would be my dream character to play.
Wow.
Yeah. And I actually, one of my friends wrote a script, and I read it, and then I was like, well, if you really want to mess with people's heads, kind of can't say too much because, but yeah,
Still working on it.
Yeah, I ended up being the character. Like, I just suggested the idea to him, and he ended up casting me as that character.
Very cool. Is
Mm-hmm.
that a project that's in the works, or?
Yeah, well, he's finishing up the script, and yeah.
Oh
my God!
Okay.
Yeah, and and that character follows along the line of a character I've always wanted to play. We're just not going to tell everybody that's involved in it because we want to see their reaction. Like, some of the people are whatever reaction they have on screen is going to be their legit reaction. So we're not telling hardly anybody about what the storyline goes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
They will have one script, and I will have another.
Yeah. I've heard of things like that happening before, where directors and such want to get like honest reactions on screen, so they withhold very important like scene information from people, until they're rolling, and they're like, "All right," and
well, that's what we did with The Plan, the first one. The director, myself, the lady who was telling the story, and one other cast member knew what the story was, but all the other women in the group had no clue. They just knew they were there in a women's support group, but they didn't know what the story was. So all of their reactions and the shock and everything in their face while the one lady is telling her story was their legit reaction.
Wow. That's really cool. That's great. Yeah, no, I love it when they do things like that, and then finding out later, oh shit, they didn't know. That's awesome. Yeah.
And it's really hard keeping that one thing a secret because I'm so excited about it.
Oh yeah. No, you can't give it up. Can't give it up. It's too good.
No. Oh, it like I said, it falls along the line with like my ultimate character I want to play. We're right up there with it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, and I've got like a couple of scripts like that are in the works right now. So.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Are you getting much into script writing yourself, or you're just focused on the acting thing?
Actually, I'm behind the camera more than I am in front of it now. Once I got a taste of behind the camera, I do more crew work. Because acting, you do your job, you do your scene, and you leave. Versus when you're crew, you're there from the plan, you're there from the inception of the project till that director says wrap.
Right.
So I just like being so involved and knowing every aspect of what's going on.
Yeah. So you can probably wear a few hats now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, well, you have worn a few hats already.
Yeah. The newest one is live producing. That's my newest one.
Okay.
And then we're talking about script writing.
Yes.
I have a few stories, and like I know how they would start, and I know like the middle, but I can never figure out the ending. Like I'm just stuck. Like I don't have a clue on how to end them.
Well.
Yeah. So until I can actually figure that out, I'm not gonna try it.
Yeah. Or you never know. You might have a couple of drinks with a friend, or maybe a trusted coach, and have some co-writing things happen. You know what I mean?
Amielynn starts drinking. There ain't no writing getting done, man, because she's all over the place worse than sober. Amielynn is. You can't catch her. You can't keep up with her.
Well, then we won't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something like that when we're filming and stuff. Like they'll have like little parties and stuff, and I'm just always like, nope. I'm like, nope. I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Well, it helps. Like, it helps to know yourself.
I'm like, but it's just also just a thing I do. I don't like drink or anything like that from the time from the first time the director yells action until he says wrap at the very end. Doesn't matter how long the project takes. I just don't.
Yeah, that's probably
Some
a
other
good
people
policy to
can.
have.
Other people can, and it doesn't faze them. I just don't want to. It's just like a little, I don't know, it's a little thing I do.
No, I get it. You want to be as professional as possible, and don't want to have any slip ups or do anything
Hangovers
that would
are not good.
injure the production.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get it. That's probably a smart move. So, hey, good on you for having a personal code. Well, I've probably kept you long enough, and
I've enjoyed it.
If I keep you longer, then I'm going to be pushing you to talk about things that you really can't talk about.
That very last one is the main one I can't talk about because it's still in works.
No. We can't give anything away on that.
Oh, but dude, oh my God, the story. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I imagine as it progresses further and things are allowed to be said, you'll be posting them somewhere, maybe on your own Facebook, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if I follow along, maybe I'll see some updates as things start to happen.
Oh yeah, and then I have another one coming up. Well, should have filmed it already, but like location crapped out to one other thing, and then we pushed it back till next year, January or February of next year. I get to play a several 100-year-old mountain witch in it.
Oh, that sounds like it could be fun.
Yeah. He sent me pics of what he wants, there's gonna be prosthetics and make me look really old, and he hasn't decided if he's going to have her wearing a wig with really ratted gray hair, if he wants her to be patches of hair because she's so old. And I was like, well, damn, dude. I was like, she's not that good of a witch. He goes, what do you mean? I was like, that old and being a witch for that long, it seems like she'd have used her powers to keep herself young.
Yeah. Or who knows?
But yeah, and that character though, as soon as I read this, he sent me the script and asked me would I be interested in auditioning. I was like, I want that role. I was like, I flat out told him I wanted it.
Yeah. That's cool.
She's awesome. She's awesome. And then the guy who is my co-star in it is absolutely adorable. I love him so much. And when he realized I was going to be the one playing that scene, he said he considered it an honor for what to be done to him is what my character is going to do to him, since it's me. He considers it an honor.
Aww.
Yeah.
Does that one have a working title? Or is that Hush Us too?
Conversation. No, it's Conversation at Midnight.
Conversation at Midnight. Oh, interesting title. All right.
Yeah. And that name, by the name of the film, you will not couldn't even guess what it's really about, just from the name of it.
Right. No, that's very vague. But it's got a catch to it. I like it.
Yeah. And it's just again, I was excited because I don't get cast as the evil person or the villain or anything hardly at all. And when that role came up, I was like, dude, I'm all over it.
Yeah,
I'm all over it.
A lot of people say that they really like getting the opportunity to play a villain because it's outside.
I never get to. I don't get cast as a villain. Don't get cast as a grandma either, even though I have 4 grandkids.
Wow. No, you don't really look the part though. You know what I mean? I understand you are, but
that's when one person told me they wanted a grandma, and I'm like, okay, here I am, and they were like, well, you don't really, fit our, what a grandma should look like. I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Have, blue permed hair and wear knit pants?
Yeah.
No. But they wouldn't, because they said I didn't look
smoking, big mole over here, you know what I mean?
Right? Yeah. So I didn't get the part because they said I didn't look like the role of a typical grandma, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
I don't know what a typical grandma is.
Exactly. I mean, I know what my grandma is in that description I just gave you with the knit pants and the frizzy perm hair, cigarettes. That was my grandma.
Yep, I know what you're saying.
That typical Oklahoma hillbilly grandma who smoked and mowed her yard barefoot.
Yeah, they're around. They're all over the country. Actually, I know a few myself.
Yeah, and then I try to pick and choose my films and my projects that I do, so that if I ever when I'm looking at it and reading the script, it's like if I'm reading the script and I don't hear her saying, "Oh, good Lord, what the hell is she doing now?" and it's her voice, I don't go for that role because I got to keep my even though she's been passed away for a long time, I still got to keep her on. Got to keep her on her toes if that makes any sense,
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
Got to keep her. Yeah. But yeah, if I ever there's been some roles, it's like I didn't hear her saying, "Oh, good Lord, what the hell is she doing now?" Because that's what she said the most about me, other than calling me, she made me think my name growing up was Amielynn, you sorry little shit ass. That's what I got called the most. I was so ornery.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I get it. It's the shock value. It's like, well, would she be shocked by this? Because if she would be, I'm doing it.
Yeah. She's like, "Oh, good. The hell is she up to now?"
Yeah.
With that little cigarette of hers and that fuzzy hair. But yeah, if I don't hear my granny's voice in my head saying that, and then it's usually I don't go for the role. If that makes any sense.
No, I think that's a good litmus test. I think that's that's a good way to be. If it doesn't spark that type of thought in your brain, I can see maybe it's a little too boring for you. And,
well, it's like okay, it's like, okay, what would Granny say about this? And then I wait, and if she don't say anything, then it's like, well, there we go. She approves. Can't do it now.
Exactly. Well, I hope that you continue to choose roles that would upset your granny. So, well, Amielynn, I've had a blast talking to you.
I've had a blast as well.
And I'm so sorry that Don couldn't make it. But I appreciate you working with me on the confusion with the time and being so.
That was my bad. I should have clarified, but it just slipped my mind on.
Oh, that's all right. Believe it or not, it happens all the time. We constantly have that issue because almost everybody we talk to is in a different time zone. And
where are you guys at exactly?
I'm in Pennsylvania, and Don is down in Virginia. So
okay.
So we're both in the Eastern time zone. But I mean, you're only one over. Yeah, what's an hour? You know what I mean? I could have worked around it, but I do appreciate you hopping on to talk to me, and it's been a heck of a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to some of the new projects that are coming out. I'll wrap it up and let you go about your night. On behalf of Don, since he can't be here, I'll use his catchphrase of "Don't let the bad ones ruin a good time," and I'll say on behalf of myself, I hope you find movies that haunt you. And have a great night.